Ready to go then. Last stop for round 4. A packed stoop, a whole lot of niggle, and Harlequins against Saracens. Sarri's getting us underway. Fergus Burke with the first kick of the game, and it's taken in by Ernie Herbst.
Use it! That's taken back.
Still preferred to Danny Kerr at 9. Started 3 of the 4 to this point. And an early tester for Alex Good. Safely underneath it. Asking a challenge from Caden Murley. And here's Ben Earl, who's wearing number 8 today, as he has been, of course, in the white of England for a little while now.
Hold in front.
Burke
now on.
Crossfield, and Daly hurtling after this one, but it might just sit for Marcus Smith. He's got Daly on top of him.
Good contest.
Herbst loves the physicality of these contests. He'll be to the fore on the carrying front. No Alex Dombrandt today for Harlequins, as you know, a hand injury keeping him out of action for a little while.
Good reaction from Chisholm there.
Just
saw the late counter ruck coming in from Onyema Christie. He was alert to it. So good time to do that counter ruck when everyone's switched off, the ball's won, and suddenly you relax and you push back over the top of the ball and on top of your scrum half.
Here is Onyema Christie, who's barreled backwards. An excellent tackle from James Chisholm. He's the man entrusted at number 8.
Hold in front, Nick, wait.
For Quins. Smith
backwards
eyes up.
Sarries.
Van Sale shifted away to Good. And as ever, finding just tiny slivers of space where there doesn't seem to be any. Lazowski, Burke, into the wide channels, thanks to Tompkins. This is Daly now. Itoje.
No
trouble kept him out last week, but happily nothing too sinister. Jamie George barreled. Really good shot coming in from Finn Baxter.
The ball's there to be placed.
Dino Lamb looking to attempt the strip, but it's still there for Sarries, and Burke to Lazowski. Trying to free up Elliott in this 5-metre channel. Across comes Halfpenny. Driven to the ground quickly by Elliott.
He's pushed back in by 12. 12 pushed him back in.
It's really good rugby, isn't it? Saracens very controlled, physical. And then pretty decent, those 15 channels.
Step, please, Ben.
But you know, you've got that centre reliability when you've got a Test Centurion at the back of the pitch there and Lee Halfpenny just sweeping up.
Just a real calm presence, isn't he?
Just wanted to look at Alex Good. As an old man, really, how can he survive? Well, here, he's going to jump, and then he realises he doesn't need to, so he just takes a step back, allows it to drop in. Then we see him, that ability to change direction, and we saw him with a little kick through as well. He's just such a good thinker that he can afford to play long into his career and long into his years, because he's not reliant on his skill set or his power. It's all about the thinking game.
Little dab forwards from Smith, it's blocked.
Advantage knock on.
And it's been knocked on, and Halfpenny is spreading it wide to Nick Davies.
Knock on from Sarries first.
Earlier on, excellent steal at line-out time from Stefan Levis, which stymied Saracens in the first instance.
I'll tell you what, it was on. You can see Marcus spotting that space in behind because of this press. Control. But then it was on for Fergus Burke. Gets a big paw to it. It's a lovely charge down. It's a favourable bounce of the ball. That's quality work there.
Van Zale there. Really alert to it, that ball over the top. He's going to play that traditional sweeper role in behind. They know it's something that Marcus Smith is very, very hot on. He was caught a little bit on the wrong side, but you saw he probably would have got over for that.
Slow calls. Crouch. Bind.
And a free kick awarded from the first scrum. It's gone against Marco Riccioni. Just eager to crack on with things, seemingly a bit too eager.
And that'd be a nice settler for Quins. You saw that stat across the bottom. screen there. They've not had the best start in terms of their scrum.
Oof. Oof. Yeah, kick from Smith has missed touch. It's found one of Saracens' danger men in Tobias Elliott. Burke to the line.
Alongside each other, play on.
Riccioni. Quinn's holding them nicely in the midfield at the moment. But here, not rolling away. That's gone against Hurst.
Exactly
well, this is an area I think Saracens manage really well. They've gone through their phases at this point, but it's just a few minutes ago when they aren't going anywhere. I think their kick game is absolutely on point. Watching them in the warm-up, seeing the options they take, and this is a really good example of it. The way in which... I'll show you in just a second. Elliot Daly's going to try and hammer this as close to Harlequin's try line as he can. It's a really good effort. We see this all the time. Look at this line that they have. Then they've got Elliot Daly out on the wing. If this kick from Fergus Burke is exactly where they want it to be, which is Marcus Smith, who's out on his own, I tell you what, more often than not, Saracens win that. The quality of kick wasn't quite good enough, so they couldn't exploit that opportunity. Massive super strength of them.
Well, they're in the 22 for the first time this afternoon. Saracens, and Gonzalez has fed Earl, and here's Onyama Christie, and they're within 5 metres. Van Sale, and a blast on the whistle because we've got an injury that needs attention, seemingly.
Oh, no. We need to get away from that shot. What a shame. Very bad injury after a brilliant carry. Ben Earl shaken up, I think, by seeing that.
It's going to be a long break.
Yeah, I think this is going to be quite traumatic for a number of players who were around him at the time. And the medics swiftly onto the scene. Saracens well stacked in terms of their options in the back row. Tom Willis and Toby Knight both covering the back row.
At the replay, because he got such a good line, the tackle was side on, which meant that the tackling player actually fell across his leg. And
I've just seen that.
Yeah, it's horrific.
No, I didn't. It's going to be a scrum, your ball.
Yeah, that's correct.
No,
such a shame, because he's been fantastic this year, for the last couple of years, and it's a big year ahead. You know, he could be well pushing for honours further than Scott, where he has been. And what an absolute catastrophic blow. See the look on Mark McCall's face there. And it was such a lovely move as well. Ben Earl off the back of the line out, little show inside to hold the defenders. And Christie's line was perfect. Got right close towards the try line, but it's just sickening, and absolutely nothing that can be done. It's just one of those horrific accidents of playing sport.
He's been flying this season.
He really has. It's been interesting. We've mentioned it a few times in Saracens games already this season. I was lucky enough to go watch them train a couple of weeks ago up near Harpenden, and they're all talking about Andy Onyama Christie, because he has come into this season like a steam train, super fit, super hungry, and in the form of his life. He was nominated for Player of the Month in the first month of the campaign. He's established inside the Scottish squad at this point, and you mentioning it, Ben. It's obviously it's the situation that hangs over the entire season. The Lions' question for all of these players out there today, but Andy Onyama Christie would have been in the conversation for sure. He hit the ground running with such impressive performances.
It's quite instructive when you do chat to the players, and speaking to Ben Earl on Premiership Rugby when they had their media day, and I said, what one player do you think is really going to step up and make a difference this year? And he spoke about his competition, Andy Onyama Christie. And it's very rare that you get people who occupy a similar position to you start to talk up, but that's the type of form and impact he's had, and devastating to see him now pick up this severe injury.
And translating it so quickly as well. First round against Gloucester, a couple of tries, man of the match, really head and shoulders above everybody else on display
on
that day.
Serious on the first kick through. Just be aware of white 6 in front of the kicker carrying on running. Yeah.
And then he gets involved in the tackle.
Yeah. I didn't come in because it's not a try.
I wasn't certain live.
Yeah, but I would have covered it. Yeah. And definitely no foul play there.
Conversation between Christoph Ridley, our referee, and our TMO today,
of course,
Dean Richards. So while the medics attend Andy Onyama Christie, a chance for us to let you know what else is coming up on TNT Sports next weekend. Round 5, which of course is the penultimate round before the autumn internationals. On Friday we're at the Gardens for Saints against Sale from 7 o'clock. Both of those packed in the middle of the table at the moment. Newcastle, Exeter also that evening at 7:30 on TNT Sports 5. Neither of those have won at this point. Saturday we're into the PWR at lunchtime. Bristol against Saracens, and then the men take centre stage from 2:15. The Bears, as we know, flying, and Saracens, of course, without dropping a point to this stage. And Quins Bath from 5:15, completing our double-header on Saturday afternoon. Sunday it's Leicester Gloucester from 2:30. What a big win that was in the East Midlands derby for Michael Cheika's Tigers yesterday. The rugby review show in its usual slot at 5:15, and then so much to get excited about from Saturday, November the 2nd. That blockbuster start to the Autumn Nations Series with England against New Zealand at the Allianz Stadium at Twickenham. Scotland, Fiji that weekend, but all the games across all the home unions, and indeed France and Italy. We're showing the lot. You won't miss anything on TNT Sports, and Discovery Plus is going to be fun, you go.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's even got The Rock talking about it. I love seeing that. When you get The Rock talking about rugby, you know it's going to be half decent.
Probably a decent flanker, don't you think?
It's amazing. I mean, it's not Big Daddy talking about it or Giant Haystacks, but it's pretty good, isn't it?
That was my nickname.
I saw,
Giant Haystacks.
So an awkward pause here for everybody concerned, actually. Never easy in these circumstances, Ben, for players or coaches on either side.
No. You see all the players, or we have done, warming up, and you obviously look to peak. Your whole week is looking to peak to 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and then at 6 minutes past 3 suddenly you have to completely change and keep your body up at a high level, but also you have to change your mindset slightly and go back in. It's very easy to drift. You've got that initial tightening of the lungs when everything in the first 5 minutes is 100 miles an hour, particularly with the amount of ball in play time we'd had early on. And then you crash and your body can start to seize up. You can get that initial sort of tightening up. So you see a lot of the players running around. Marcus Smith's just going through some sprints. But I think the biggest challenge is mentally.
Yeah, 100%. Back to the conversation, Autumn Nations. One player I want to see in England 13 jersey is this guy here. I think he's been so good. His story, and everyone has a story, but basically been eliminated, forgotten about from England since 2018. He had an ACL injury last year. People forget that. And for him to come back in a slightly revamped squad, without using that term so deliberately, because they've such a brilliant squad. I love what he's been about. And I think what an opportunity just to put him back into the squad, give him a go, give him a chance, and see if he can own that shirt. We know Henry Slade's out injured, due back in the next couple of weeks, but the way in which this guy's been playing, and the message I think it provides to everyone, that if you do play well consistently, you get a shot.
Can you see a Lawrence-Lazowski partnership?
Yeah.
I think Lawrence has to be there. It is at times unplayable. We saw another great performance from him this weekend. What I like about this guy is, again, another thinker of the game. He is the sort of player that can get the best out of those around him by not being selfish and thinking, right, how do I get the best out of someone like Ollie Lawrence?
So applause all around the stoop, people rising to their feet as a mark of respect for Andy Onyama Christie, struck down here after such a brilliant start to his season. All fans united in their support for him, and we wish him a speedy recovery. hard to take. It really is hard to take for supporters and teammates and for the individual concerned. It always amazes me how resilient players are in the rehabbing process and dealing with injury, Ben. It's huge, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it's part of the career. It's a horrible part of the career. You know, being carried off there, he is well aware that he has got a long rehab process ahead of him.
It's a free kick from the scrum, this time awarded to Sarries, and Earl bouncing around that 5-metre line. Herbst throwing himself into Tom Willis, who's the man who's come on for the stricken Onyama Christie.
Not a bad replacement.
Been exceptional this season, hasn't he? Itoje lays it up. Van Sale. Here is Willis. His carrying has been huge. His footwork and his speed, we know, are exceptional. He's beaten more defenders than anybody by some margin in this campaign to date. Burke to Earl. There'll be no greater tribute to their teammate if Sarries could score from this passage of possession. Tompkins searching for the holes.
It's a very good defensive set from Harlequins. Saracens with lots of possession, but this all started on their 5-metre line. Good choice of tackle, good physicality, and then decent discipline to not give anything cheap.
Sale again, and Burke drives it through. Tricky bounce, Halfpenny. Oh, thought for a minute Elliott had that. It went forwards, and Murley flings it out.
It's a free shot, advantage being played.
Nick David is thinking it might be on here from just about as deep in the in goal as you could possibly be.
Back for the knock-on.
That's great to see that, because they know they've got, it's not loose, they know the referee's coming back as long as they don't go past the point of the knock-on. I think Kenningham feeling a bit aggrieved that he didn't win a penalty at the breakdown before that.
Engage this side and then engage that side early. So I think they triggered you. Can we wait?
Really good little dab through here. Made it so awkward for Halfpenny in the backfield.
Not even got to the contest
it's a horrible
yet.
bounce,
Let's wait
though,
for
isn't
the
it?
calls.
Yes.
Don't guess them, please.
Filthy.
Here's your mark.
Well, it's really good identification. This is the lads playing from everywhere, using that advantage.
Hold
But I
that
also think that
spacing.
kick from Fergusburg was an acknowledgement that they were going nowhere. In fact, they were going backwards, weren't they?
That was a tremendous defensive set. Really was. I think probably a few eyes raised by Harlequin's back row selection. And perhaps that had something to do with it. They know they have to be able to dominate physically rather than just relying on getting those steals on the floor. They can't let Saracens get any momentum into the game, so slightly bigger back row maybe.
Well, there's some momentum from Chisholm, and Dino Lamb's driving it on to the 22. Look at the leg drive as well. A couple of teammates in behind him, Baxter and Levis adding their weight. Brilliant stuff from Quins. And Yanwu. Little pop for a short line from Beard. And Yanwu takes it up and drives through the middle of the ruck, and Saracens are the ones who are on the scramble here. Baxter, soft hands. Smith is caught, the ball is loose. A very promising passage from Quins, that, full of intent, full of devil.
Wanting to play. I'll tell you, some of the carries, and Yanwu, he's had plenty of touches, plenty of leg drive.
Just watch how Harlequins are backing off a little bit to try and take the sting out of the Saracens' line speed.
Burke to Earl, and Yanwu slows him up. And Beard and Kenningham do the rest. Itoje for Willis. And for all the enterprise from Quins, they are still pinned in their own half here. Gonzalez, Burke, nice handling, Lazowski, and away from Good, and Daly's on the move. Up and into the 22, needs a kindly bounce here. Oh, Chisholm's lost it, and then it's been knocked on surely by Van Sale. But Harlequins have given up the penalty.
You've played the ball on the ground.
Desperation from James Chisholm, and a yellow.
The quality of that handling, more the timing of the passing, not just the handling, but picking off every defender till you get to the outside, and Elliott Daly then puts the pedal to the floor, accelerates in, kicks ahead.
On the floor out the game.
Well,
Why is that a yellow card? I know he's off his feet, but there was an knock-on before it.
I need to have another look at it in a moment or two. Let's see how this line-out unfolds. Itoje rises.
In 5 more.
And Sarries gather round. Harlequins holding and throwing good numbers at this, ushering them towards the touchline. Round they go. Not much room for manoeuvre here for Saracens. They might not need it. Reece Carre not too far away. And it's Harlequins' ball.
Big from Stefan Leviche, captain's role, got in there. Referee happy that Saracens brought that down to ground. Let's have a look at that yellow then, Hugo.
Yeah, so when we look at the choreography of it, what James Chisholm did was illegal, 100%. But we see from here, goes down on the ball. Then we get this knock on. Oh no, totally my bad. He calls it. That spot on decision, I take it back. However,
look at Herbst there. Look where he is at the front. That's really good play. They have to break off, and as they break off, it's another good block. And Yuanwu in there as well, but Stefan Leviche had found himself on the ball, but all that carnage caused originally by brilliant defence at the front of the line out from Ernie Herbst.
Stay behind the ball, 9.
We're jostling between Fonsale and Porter. And the penalty is gone against Fonsale. Overstepping the mark. It is his job to be a general pain in the backside.
You see the celebration from Quins. They know they're on the ropes here. So getting away there without conceding a point is absolutely huge to them. Marcus Smith, they won't rush to this line out, they'll wind down the clock. Good for work from Porter there as the block. Being assisted by Kenningham.
Yeah, you can't hold on to the back of his
Sale
shirt.
doesn't like it, holding on to it.
He's picked it up anyway.
Yeah, there's being an irritant, and then there's doing that right in front of the referee. So
you got
number 8 play.
Yeah, I was going to say, got number 12 packing down at 8.
Jabulu is on the ball at the moment. He's come on for Jack Walker, by the way, who went off for a head injury assessment.
Never got on the ball.
Nathan Jabulu, who's this 21-year-old everybody needs to keep a keen eye on. Not a star of the future, we understand. Look goes Daly, but it's claimed by Nick David. Porter searches for Smith, finds Smith, and then the race is on here. Good barrel to the grounds. Caden Murley coming piling in, but Fonsale ships it quickly. Tompkins. Good. Yeah, change of plan. Still changing plans. Brought down by Jabulu in the end, but Saracens now deep in their half. Looking to restore a little bit of order. Off goes Elliott on the kick chase, but Halfpenny's under it. Herbst. Some hefty old collisions at the moment.
Inside.
Smith again to the air. Burke. Good.
It's about as deep as Harlequins have been all game, isn't it?
Strong leg drive again from Willis.
Okay, 9, use it. Step, please, step.
Halfpenny, eyes to the heavens.
Backwards by Sarries.
And Sarries done well to get up and tip that back, and Carre is crashing onwards. Bit of a collision with Jabulu. I wonder if that was an incident involving his head. It might conceivably have been. He's quickly to his feet.
Hold inside, lads, hold.
Good. Again, challenging that back three aerially. Smith comes in once more. Elliott got up and got a touch on it, and then ended up being offside.
Knock on, offside.
Yeah, he takes a gamble, Elliott. Don't think he's convinced, but I think it's right. Does really well to get a hand in there and knock it back to his side, but it comes off Lazowski's shoulder, is it? No, Burke's shoulder, I think. And then his hands, and then forward. Yeah, clearly offside. Well, it's been a really good first 5 minutes of the yellow card by Harlequins. It's almost spiked them into life, hasn't it, losing a player.
Spending precious time in opposition territory, a man down.
That's it, 85% of this game has been played in their half, which is wild. Just recalibrated there, it's now 80%. It's going to have to start making sure when they get a chance to attack like now that they can be clinical.
Lovely ball from Dino Lamb, the stooping, great voice, and Yanwu head down. Lovely article in the Times over the influence of Andre Esterhazen on Lennox and Yanwu. Such a key figure here for so many years, of course, the South African. Willis spots half a hole, keeps it alive. Burke to Earl. This is really dynamic stuff from Saracens. Burke again, challenging up to halfway, frees the arms up, and it's gone forwards. And the moment has passed, but Sarri's threatening.
It's a shame because it was really good play from Willis. They're playing with knock-on advantage. Just look at the speed to get back and realise what's in front of him. Because he gets there so quickly, doesn't need to go into the breakdown, spots that they're without a guard on that blind side, goes himself and then keeps the ball alive. It's that speed of transition from defence into attack.
Well, his numbers have been crazy this season. Tom Willis got to be threatening for a back row spot under Steve Borthwick, you'd think, through November. Just affecting matches on the carry, at the breakdown, and just bringing that abrasive edge.
Good, thanks, right?
Who do you build your back row around for England, Ben?
Personally, Ben Earl.
So where do you play him?
That's the question. I think they'll start with Ben Earl at 8. If Curry's fit and healthy to go at 7, but absolutely I can see Tom Willis being the man on the bench. I think they'll want a bigger 6, whether that's a combination of Mara Itoje going there with the 2 Leicester locks involved, or whether that you go with Chandler Cunningham South. But I think they'll want a big 6, a jumping, a very good jumping 6. But it's a tough. There's a lot of good players about. There are a lot of good players. There's players that haven't even made the training squad. That any other year you'd say, God, you've got to get him in the England team.
He's just one of them, of course. That Harlequins bench full of quality. Joe Marler, Joe Launchbury, Chandler Cunningham South, Will Evans, Danny Kerr, Jared Evans. Interesting policy, actually, because some of those you might have expected potentially to start today, but they're looking for big things later on. Certainly the early exchanges here tight enough to suggest this policy is a good one. Kenningham on the move, rolling up to the 10-metre line, probing that short side through Herbst. Lamb. Porter to Smith. Pressure coming on from Earl, and Smith having to launch that bomb nice and early. And it's gone forwards again. This is sometimes the consequence of those little tap downs, which have become such an important part of the game, Hugo. But if you get it wrong and there's somebody standing in the wrong position, then you are at the mercy of the offside law.
Yeah, the quality of the kick, but more so than anything, I often talk about this landing zone. Caden Murray gets into that landing zone, he owns it. Sally's Good can't get off the floor and dominate the air. He puts hands in the air, you can understand it, but the quality of the kick and then getting into that space where the ball's going to land, if you can dominate that physically, you can then dominate what happens in the air.
Still a minute and a half to play out on the Chisholm yellow, which means that Murley is packing down on the blindside flank.
Yeah, this will be a combination of trying to keep things simple. Have a look at Lennox and Yanwu. Kenningham's going to break. They'll look to truck it up.
Porter goes to the 22. And Levis recognises that his 9 is at the bottom of the ruck this time. Onwards through Levis, the man who lifted the Premiership trophy a couple of seasons ago, but great work over the ball from Saracens, and they've earned themselves a breakdown penalty.
Just see, Itoje doesn't get an accurate latch onto the ball and lift it, but because the man on the floor actually keeps moving forward, referee very happy that Had he not done that, Itoje would have latched onto the ball. Good decision. A good start, Christoph Ridley, isn't he? Very quickly rising in everyone's estimations.
Captain of the club this season, of course, Maro Itoje.
Front man. Yes.
Vast reserves of experience with Jamie George, the England skipper, in the ranks as well. And Ben Earl, England's most significant player of the last 18 months or so, you would think. Up she goes from Van Sale. Halfpenny again. Big challenge for the ball. It's with Sarries. They've got a knock-on advantage, and Tompkins sees space in behind. Work to do here for Smith and Halfpenny. And a really good chase from Tompkins. It's never anything other than an excellent chase from the Welsh International Centre.
That's the second high ball. We know how good Halfpenny is under the high ball. Second one that he's just misjudged, and it's dropped quicker than he thought, and then he's had to accelerate late. And the player's already been in that landing zone that Ugo was talking about.
So the applause is for James Chisholm, who's returning to the field, and Harlequins can be well pleased with the way they've navigated that 10 minutes, playing with only 14 men.
You wouldn't have called 0-0 after 20 minutes, would you?
Timing, lads, timing!
Absolutely not.
That's over 15.
Gonzalez to Earl. Van Sale. Lasowski met well by Beard. Nice pick-up from Gonzalo. It wasn't quite the nicest of pickups from Juan Martin Gonzalez. And Harlequins rewarded for their defensive efforts. They'll be delighted with that, having brought in Jason Gilmore as part of their coaching setup. This is just the kind of defensive effort and commitment that he'll be looking for, that Nick Evans is looking for. Nick, lovely to talk to you. Fascinating first 20 minutes or so. What's your reading of the game? What do you want to see more of?
Yeah, it's been a real war of attrition at the moment. Obviously, with that injury, you know, thoughts with Christie, you know, we'd never want to see that. So I think, oh, have you just heard me now? Have I just come on? Or
got you now, Nick.
Yeah, no, just it's been a war of attrition. I think both, you know, sides cancelling each other out, a lot of kicking. Obviously, after that break, you know, just want to send thoughts to Christie. No one wants to see that. So, you know, her thoughts are with him and his family, and hope he's okay. But yeah, look, we've just got to stay in the fight here. Just got to wait for the opportunities. We've got, as you see here, just a bit more territory. We haven't played down that end at all, really. So we just need to work our way out the field a little bit. But the defence is going well from both sides.
We'll be very pleased with the way that 10 minutes elapsed with a man down.
Yeah, we did. We worked really well, and we you know, we managed to hold on there, and a couple of good set pieces, and our defence has held up really well. So we just got to make, you know, try and create some opportunities, but stay in the fight, be really patient. This is a good old-fashioned derby at the moment.
Great stuff, Nick. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries.
Quick hands from Quins. They found the edge. They found Murley streaking over the 10-metre line, and Levis juggles and spills, and the counter's on for Saracens. Daly assessing all options. Lasowski running hard. Tompkins to Earl, looking to set the target again. Just a momentary flash from Quins of the threat that they offer in attack, particularly on the counter.
No, it's not. 9, use it.
Halfpenny watching, and he's misjudged that as well, and the ball is, well, for a moment, still in play. Just wanted to look at, I talked before about Harlequins almost running backwards to get round Saracens' line speed. Watch them here. No go forward in that backfield. They're running sideways, and they just take that last defender out. Any sort of forward movement from any of those players that had the ball there, and the last man gets hit, man and ball, before he can get the ball away into the wide channel.
Time off a second.
So it's almost the bullfighter, the matador, just inviting them on and using that super strength of theirs against them. The problem is any sort of juggle in midfield, and you find yourself 20 metres further back than you should have been.
Yeah, you're playing chicken effectively, aren't you?
Exactly.
Which is why the range of kicking is so important, isn't it? From Marcus Smith in particular, that whoever's at first receiver, those little dabs through, little dink over the top, the long kicking, just to keep that
them honest,
guessing.
But also, don't panic if you do get caught. And okay, we've had a go, it's not on, now we'll go to our kicking game. what Saracens are trying to do is, by having that line speed, stop you wanting to play, being worried about playing, just being nervous about it. If you give in to that, they win. So if you stop playing, you stop doing what you want to do, they win. That's the whole point of the strategy. So you've got to be brave, you've got to be bold, and if you make a mistake, you've just got to recover it somehow.
Well, there's a man stationed at number 10 for Quins who's unlikely to go into a shell, I would suspect. Marcus Smith is he's not a cautious man by nature on the rugby field. He'll keep pulling tricks out of the bag. Daly plucks that and gets it away to Riccioni.
Tackle!
Pitch is really cutting up quite a lot. There's been a couple of areas where there's been a scrum and there's big dents in the turf. Ezekiel hit hard by Finn Baxter. And Harlequins coming up trumps on the penalty front.
Burnell screamed at me about tackle complete there. He's lying on the floor screaming at me on the ground. We just can't accept it. Okay, thank you. You understand.
So Earl, the culprit, as far as Christoph Ridley is concerned. It's always felt like a bit of a balancing act with Sarries. They love a whoop and a holler, but there's a time and a place, probably.
Good refereeing. It's not made a huge deal out of it. Given the penalty away, told the captain what he wants, and he wants him to shut up.
That is a great nudge from Marcus Smith. Earl's talkative nature has cost them 40 metres or so. Time to capitalise now for Quins. Their red zone conversion not that special. Walker to Lamb, and now the rumble. And it's brought down but by their own side, and Cunningham feeds it back. Chisholm goes into Reece Carey. Porter uses Levis. Good support from Walker, and look at the leg drive from the Quins skipper. Lamositelli, former Saracen, to within a couple of metres. The short pop and the drive now from Chisholm. Quins really feeling it. Onwards through Baxter. Harlequins, baby-faced assassin, coming up with the goods.
All made by that initial carry from Levis. I just wondered whether his knee had gone to ground, and he went again, but he gets him so close to the line. And then there's some really intelligent late decision-making on the passes. This is Levis, knee down there, and then he gets up and goes again. But then Lamositelli gets them even closer. And then that delay pass looks like it's going to Cunningham, popped up to Chizzo, and then they sweep back the other side with Saracens overfolding.
On the halfway line, player leaning on it. There was a little scuffle afterwards, but nothing was done. But just the player holding players in afterwards.
Finish, isn't it? He got stopped, but then he used that scrum strength, scrum technique to get himself over the line.
Saracens won.
First blood to the Quins.
And it doesn't make sense. Saracens have had all the possession, 3 visits to the 22. This is Harlequins' first, but it's clinical. They backed themselves against Northampton with their drive and more last week, turning down the points, and you can see why.
Don't underestimate that finish from Finn Baxter. He's gone directly in to Gonzalez and Ezekiel. They've stopped him dead. He hasn't panicked, he hasn't just rolled over and gone on the ground. He's taken that initial hit, 2 feet planted in the ground, and then he's used that scrummaging technique to edge his way over the line. Really good finish.
And he's left some collateral damage in his wake, because Juan Martin Gonzalez is being attended to by the medics, which means that the former Quinn, Hugh Tizard,
just
has come on for Saracens, unsurprisingly booed, having jumped from southwest London to North London, and he's replaced Gonzalez in the back row. So 1 or 2 problems to address in that area for Mark McCall and co.
think they'd put Ezekwe in at 6. Tizard going to the second row, in all honesty.
Just one of those who's been really vocal about the rivalry between these two clubs. He said he loves to beat Quins. Wearing his Saracens shirt after his time here.
Not on the ball, lads.
Again, Premiership appearances.
Halfpenny's landing zone blocked. He's having a bit of an argument with the referee's assistant there, but the player underneath it, Elliott's got every right to be there.
In law, 100%, we have got too many bodies loitering around the drop zone. We want a contest, but we've got a lot of people loitering, not actually wanting to catch the ball, just blocking players from competing.
So what do you do about it?
You say if you want to be in the landing zone, you have to be competing for the ball. Otherwise, just get away from it. Why do we need to populate landing zones?
But you don't have to jump. You can catch the ball on a rugby field standing still. So
we see two.
But how do you make a law about that? If you're standing still underneath the ball, you've got every right to be there.
Eyes to the ball, hands to the ball. If you're not doing those things, get out of the way.
That's the difference between a second row and a winger.
Yeah. Why would you jump? Just stand still.
So that's good.
Taken well that time, and here's Jack Walker for Quinn. Smith dipping the shoulder, trying to get outside Nick Tompkins. Kenningham, great footwork past Ezekwe. Good to see Jack Kenningham back after being out for so much of last season. Will Evans, incidentally, on the bench this afternoon, who's been the king of the turnovers this season.
That's fine, he was running back towards the ball.
Lateral, and then straightening is Earl. And there's the power and the acceleration. Dragged down by Anyanwu. Quick ball for Funzale, though. And Harlequins need to reassemble in a hurry. Dino Lamb makes an important tackle, having got back into the line a little bit late. To the short side they go, Sarries. And over the ball goes Levis.
Unlucky, not gone. Good
affected the turnover, and then was busy looking at the ref,
it's a really good
waiting for the decision.
The
and as he did so, fumbled it.
Better again from Saracens, wasn't it? A little bit more like they were in the first 15 minutes or so. Loads of time. Braddock's good. No one in front of him in that landing zone. Hugo and I have been arguing about, but then lovely bit of footwork. But the delay of the pass, it's so often just a slight delay on a pass that forces defenders to overrun things and opens up a dog leg or a gap. Ben Earl swerves his line around Anyanwu, and then that is really nice play. But again, every time they get any sort of momentum, Harlequins, there's just a little bit of good play from the back row of Saracens. There's good play from the back row of Harlequins.
Tompkins probing through that 10-12 channel. He's done really well. Muscles his way to the 22. Here's Tizard, banged over by Smith. Lazowski to Good. Earl again.
The ball is there, it's right there, he's doing his very best.
Willis again. And Chisholm comes in with a really powerful tackle.
Not with him there.
Tompkins, Tizard. It was a really good performance for Quins against Sarries that first alerted them to his talents. Working it wide, Sarries. Earl again.
Tackle!
Heading towards double figures on the phase front here. Patient stuff. Reece Carey. Saw him galloping in the long grass a week ago at the Stoneaxe. Tompkins. Once again getting a lot further through the contact zone, and you might think Lazowski to Jamie George, running out of space, and well marshalled by Nick David.
Marcus Smith celebrating that hard. I felt he got taken far too far past the breakdown by Elliot Daly there, just off camera. But you've got to be impressed with Harlequins' defensive effort so far, because Saracens haven't been bad in attack.
Can I ask you to step out, please?
They've been really confrontational, but at the moment Although at times it's creeped, Harlequins doing a really good job of staying solid.
You can see it there in terms of the red zone. It's a game which I wasn't fully expecting. We know the basis of everything Saracens do really well is defence. But because the trend that we've seen in the Gallagher Premiership has been all about tries, and these two teams out here have some brilliant try scorers, a huge amount of creativity, but it's been defence. Defence has been on top today.
It's been the big work on for a few years now, hasn't it? The defence for Quins. Previously it was Jordan Turner-Hall who was in charge. Prior to that, Jerry Flannery was in charge, and with teams that love to play the way that they do, as we see Jason Gilmore in charge now, far left of your screen, it's an issue. We talked about it yesterday at Kingsholm with the way George Skivington's trying to get Gloucester to play. If you want to be ready for any possible opportunity on the counter particularly, you need to have enough security in your defence to do that, but it's a very delicate balance, Hugh.
Yeah, so many times last year Harlequins needed to score 6 or 7 tries to win a match because their defence was so porous. We see the best example of it is Northampton. The season before, their defence was okay, but there was a 30% increase in their defence.
And they won the league.
Simple.
And yet, Harlequins won the league with the worst defence a couple of years back.
That goes back to the point I was making at the beginning, that now everyone else is starting to play like Harlequins, and that everyone else's attack has got so much better. If Harlequins don't match what everyone else is doing with their defence, then they're going to get left behind.
Porter's clearance and a little bit of relief for Quins.
Kick chase, which is all totally legal, but the things that I'd like to see just freshen up a little bit. We've got a nice line here from Saracens who do their very best, and I would want this if I was a winger. But when there is no intention to challenge for the ball and just block it off, let's get rid of it. Let's get more of a competition.
Very hard thing to bring into law, you'd think, as Ben Earl races off on another little excursion. Reece Carey. Willis. Once more, Chisholm with the tackle. Jamie George now working those feet, running into Jack Walker.
Away now.
Trying to ensure that all of this pressure and territory is converted somehow or other. Normally, an area of great expertise from Saracens. Jamie George again, back into the traffic. Burke to Willis again, 2 there to meet him. Walker and Baxter bring him down. Lazowski, and then the variety, across comes Halfpenny. And driven into touch by Elliot Daly, who has another little dart afterwards, looking for the ball.
Great kick, lovely weight, well defended, really nice attack actually. From Saracens, what I've not quite seen is variety. We see it with Tom Willis on this point. He's a big, strong fella. Bang, gets dealt with, not back. So then Saracens realising, having not gone anywhere for a little while, may need to show something slightly different. That gives them a great foundation now to be able to go to their set piece. Variety in attack will give you opportunities.
Ezekwe's line-out ball.
More in 5.
And it's with Jamie George. Try against the Chiefs last week, and around about 10 metres out from the try line here.
Stay there.
Thinking about it, a little bit reluctant to hand that away to Ivan Fansel. Oh, not too many options. How well did he do to get that away? Dab forwards by Burke, and across comes Halfpenny. Importantly, goes to ground beyond the try line, so Quins have the option to clear from here.
I tell you what, Saracens got a fair few long-limbed lads, haven't they? The likes of Maritoji, Nick Ezekwe. This is a massive kick now for Will Porter. First of all, has to go to touch. And that's a brilliant touch.
Outstanding, taken quickly by Good. Here's Daly, skips inside, and Yanwu's got a chase on here. Daly still moving.
Great tackle from Baxter.
Willis now, bringing the dynamism and the energy. And over the ball goes, and Yanwu has to give up the contest. I think that might have... Is that a knock-on advantage or no, it's a full-scale penalty?
Lying on the rock on his belly, playing the ball. 12.
Well, if you kick the ball off the field, sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit of meterage to make sure the opposition can't take a quick throw in, but really good from Good to get it to Daly. And how about this tackle from Finn Baxter, isolated on his own against a very elusive runner. Great work rate from a prop. Now he's going to have to do his bread and butter and hold out from another 5 metre.
He's some player, this, isn't he? Finn Baxter. He seems to have all the tools, equipped himself so well on the summer tour of New Zealand at loose head. Scrummaging's top-notch, lovely soft hands, brilliant defensively. He's got it all. To the tail they go, to Ezekwe they go, and this looks more promising for Saris. Heads up, Walker and Smith. Tompkins arrives.
Number 6 is bound in.
Dino Lamb trying to get through to that ball, but in doing so he's trying to crack the gaps between the bind. He's caused enough of a problem.
Lazowski. Oh, a bit of width out there. Halfpenny's calling for support defensively, but it's still there for Saris. George to Earl. And Earl just might take things on himself. Tompkins. Once more, barrelling tackle. 5 metres out. And Harlequins rewarded for all their endeavour at the breakdown. Jack Cunningham sticking his head where it hurts.
There's an air of inevitability to that penalty, wasn't it? You could feel it coming. And the game has shifted into that sort of game. Harlequins, almost like those amazing Scotland performances where you're throwing everything at them, but constantly they are coming up with big plays at breakdowns and you can't get any momentum in the game. Saracens, with all their possession and how they've played, should be ahead going in at half-time. But the bravery of Quinn's defence and that rearguard action has been absolutely superb, and it's starting to become a little bit of a story in itself.
They should be up because of the possession and the opportunities, but they shouldn't because of how one-dimensional I think Saracens have been in their attack. No tip plays, it's just been carry after carry, one-pass plays, and currently Harlequins are dealing with that.
Down from 10, please.
Last few moments of the first half, and Dino Lamb, has he secured the ball? No, he's lost it, no.
Thrown across.
Now an infringement at the line-out, which lets them off the hook, because that was a little scruffy.
Marcus, that's half-time if you want it.
It was Itoji's interference there, which Christoph Ridley took issue with.
They're going to play. He's not going to tap this. They want one more shot.
And he's given that as much as he dare, Marcus Smith. Good expression of intent. Easy to just tap it and knock it out, get into the sheds, but they want to play. They want to make the most of some sort of advantage here. They're in the right area of the field. Crowds are right in behind them.
Over 15.
Cunningham, space. Opens up nicely. Porter tears towards the line. Support arriving. And Yanwu could do with some help here. Smith is there or thereabouts, but he's still moving on Yanwu. Chisholm sizing up these opportunities. Herbst goes to grounds. And one by one they carry towards the line. Desperation in the faces of all those wearing white. Deep into the red. Jack Walker for Quins. Earl having a dabble. In comes Finn Baxter.
Just placed his hand on the ball.
Here he is again, Baxter, looking for that extra drive. Find that extra half metre. Once more they go close to the line, and they're being dragged over the line by the Saracens defenders, and they are held up.
That's a poor last carry, because he was short of the line, and then he continued with his leg drive and allowed himself to be held up.
Well, a brilliant finish to a really compelling 40 minutes. Finn Baxter's score is separating them at the moment. And there is a look of a little bit of concern on the faces of the Saracens players. They've been so dominant in this fixture. They've won the last 8 against Quins. It is high time the home side bit back. They're in the process of doing that. Half-time at the Stoop. Quins 7, Saracens 0.
They'll hope to do a bit less tackling in the second half, I'd imagine, because that does wear you, does tire you out, though they do have some decent reinforcements on the bench. Chandler Cunningham South and Will Evans still there.
7-0 the scoreline. A rarity that you see that big fat 0 next to Saracens at half-time. Almost a year since they were nilled at half-time in the Premiership. Saints back in last December. Van Sale does well to get this away. Halfpenny, who's had quite an interesting time of it at the back for Quins today, takes that well. And here's Lamos Satelli, who's renewing friendships this afternoon, having spent a few years with Sarries, of course. Very impressive showing from the 2 locks for Quins. Herbston, Levis today. Chisholm, similarly, super industrious.
Tom Willis took a big bang at that initial breakdown. He's back on his feet now.
Holding front.
Smith, the line speed not quite as voracious as it was in the early part of that first half. One diffused by Alex Good. And there's Willis, again, spotting a metre or 2 in which to run. And Carre, driven to the ground by Yanwu, shown up really well today as well.
Wait.
3 in the backfield. Halfpenny is actually having a hard time getting through all the escorts who are wearing the same shirt as him.
Oh, good from Willis there.
Burke, caught by Smith.
Not on the ball.
Not too many numbers committed to that breakdown from Quins. Tompkins wrestles his way onwards. Over the top goes Cunningham.
Not over the top, please.
Not too far away. Once again, Tom Willis on the carry. Daly chasing hard. And Halfpenny, very, very good this time.
9 use. Step, Mara, step. Thank you.
We're in this part of the game at the moment where you have to keep your discipline. Tactically, lots of kicking, lots of decent chasing, lots of decent aerial skills. But Saracens and Harlequins aren't going to relent from this. The first one to make a mistake will get that decent chase to try and get the ball back. Will end up breaking up and opening up this field.
Yeah, that's the reason we're seeing all this kicking in the middle third.
Yeah.
Just waiting for that error.
Tell you
Back by
guys.
Daly. And Willis is onto it. He seems to be everywhere. There must be about 3 of him out there this afternoon. Burke to Tompkins. And a rare touch for Tobias Elliott. He's not seen much of the ball so far today. And now dropping on it is Anyanwu for Quins, and they've got the turnover.
Well, if they're urgent, they can move to the width here. However, slightly laboured in their ability to be able to resource that, so we'll go back to this kick strategy once again.
Use it. Contest.
Nikaziquin.
Tackle there, leave it. Away, Steph, please. Thank you. Use it.
Same old theme. Van Sale. And Halfpenny. Has that gone forwards from Halfpenny? No, it's not. Backwards off Saracens, says the ref. And here's Burke. And Yanwu's tackle. Got it. And the ball squirts out on the Quins side.
You can't use your hands there.
Walker's lying in the way, which is why Christoph Ridley said that turnover
Who's
happened.
got rights to the ball, not 13.
Just see what they're going to do here. But I just wanted to have a look at Elliot Daly. And kicking game in that middle third of the field is so important, but it's only your kicking game is only as good as those chasing it. Yes, the hang time's got to be perfect.
Corner, go for it.
Just watch Daly here on the first one. Watch his line, how he gets through the traffic that Hugo was talking about. Cuts through, nearly gets it, puts big pressure on. Then he runs back because the ball's coming back. Watch it, he's on the left-hand side of your screen now. He runs a really good blocking line himself, runs that protection, and then he gets one more shot. High kick, same line again. This time he gets in there, gets a hand, makes Halfpenny life hell.
Well, it's an unbelievable kick from Fergus Burke that has set up this position for Saracens. He went for broke, he went for the corner flag, and he's given his pack every chance from here.
That's the Sally's player to ground.
7th time they've been into the 22, ball in hand. Here goes Lasovsky. Another excellent tackle, that time from Oscar Beard. Van Sale putting a bit of width on it. Daly drawing the men. Looking to slip that ball away to Elliott, who has to go and clear out. Still there for Sarries. On the bounce, saw the knock-on.
The knock-on.
Playing with the advantage then, Saracens. Burke arriving.
Advantage for knock-on. That's backwards.
And Halfpenny onto it.
No
and back we come for the Quins knock-on.
That's good attack from Saracens, but again, that Harlequins defence under pressure. Here's the kick, but look at the distance he's gets.
Knock on, scrum Sarries.
Perfect nudge. And as they get to the corner, Halfpenny and Smith do really well here, because Halfpenny blocks off that pass. What Daly's trying to do is get outside of Smith and enough time to get that ball behind the back of Halfpenny, but he stays in that passing channel. And Porter again with a similar role, not committing too hard to the tackle, making sure he can get a hand on that offload.
Some further work for the medics out there on the field at the moment. Dino Lamb
Steph, is he ready?
took a feral collision. I think that might have been off the back of that initial knock-on from Quins, actually.
There's nothing obvious, Christoph.
They're looking at it.
And TT Lamasatelli was taking a while to get to his feet as well.
I wonder what the strategy is on the back row replacements.
Okay, here we
when
go.
they're thinking of pre-match, if no one's injured, when they were thinking of throwing them in. Probably depends on how the game's going. Lamb's still out there.
I can applaud the desperation in defence has been very good. But in a game where Saracens are traditionally so astute, you cannot cling on. They've got to make better decisions in defence and actually then start implementing their attack. Because a position like this, Saracens end up slapping you in the face. Free kick now, they can't take the scrum.
Taken quickly by Earl. And they set up camp. Willis. In comes Kenningham. One more tackle to add to the tally. Hangs on to the ankles wisely. Itoje. Time for that Quins defence to provide the steal one more time. Ezekwe is dealt with by Jack Walker. Riccioni now for Saracens. They have put in a monumental shift. Quins defensively, can they hold out again? Willis, Burke, good goes wide. And the inside ball from Daly leaves Lasovsky 5 short. Ronnie Maui has come on for Reece Carey at loose head. Powering towards the line.
Ball still in.
Again through the middle goes Willis. Look at the brute strength of the man. It's extraordinary what he's done there. Tizard now, against his former club, scores the try. Dragging his side back into contention. It's tied to the post. There should be 2 more to come. And Hugh Tizard wreathed in smiles at the stoop.
Yeah, it's another good finish, actually, that the damage caused by Tom Willis's carry, as you said, Ali. But when it finally comes, here's the Willis carry. Marcus Smith, his target initially, but then he has to go through Lamasatelli, Kenningham. But just watch here, Tizard doesn't go forward too quickly, and that forces the extra step from Chisholm, and he realises he can go over the top of him. If he goes and confronts Chisholm, tries to blast through him, then he probably gets stopped dead, but he just allows the Harlequins defender to come, and then he jumps over the top of him.
Zowski with the conversion, 7 points apiece, 49 minutes gone, Hugo.
It's a very good try, isn't it? The Saracens don't, I mean, they absolutely deserve this, don't they? In terms of their territory, some of the quality, and to the point I was trying to make earlier, you cannot just keep on defending your 22 and expect to get away with it with that amount of power and that amount of quality.
Bringing you up close and personal from the in-goal area, and it's made life very, very interesting with half an hour to play. Tom Willis. You can see the athleticism of him as well, the acceleration from a standing start there, Ben.
Do you know what I think you can see, which is really, really important when you're talking about internationals and things? Pick players who are confident, and as the games have gone on, he's just looking more and more confident every time he gets the ball.
Kept hold of it.
Almost feels like he's in the zone, that he can just blast through anyone.
We'll have a word with Rob Webber in a moment. That's gone forwards from Ben Earl in the carry. And as a consequence, Quins will regain possession. Let's have a word then with Rob, who's now the assistant forwards coach. Rob, via Jersey and Chicago, of course. Great to have you back in the Premiership. What's your reading of where we are right now? We were talking in the first half, just wondering if there was a little bit of a one-dimensional play going on with Saracens. We're used to having so many shapes thrown at us by your side. It seemed to quite be there in the first 40.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, and I think that's probably because the credit to the Harlequins defence, and they were piling up the breakdown, and we weren't getting quick enough ball, which makes it really hard to do those shapes and attack with a bit more freedom. So that was definitely a message at half-time, yeah, for sure. And
great to get the score from Hugh Tizard. Talk us through the disruption. Obviously, we're terribly sorry about Andy Onyama Christie and Juan Martin Gonzalez too. Your back row been heavily disrupted.
Yeah, they have, yeah, and it'll be a test for us going forward, but you know, we try to practice for these things and these permutations, and the lads will have to dig in and get their heads around it, and all hands on deck.
Brilliant to talk to you, Rob. Thanks so much for your time.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Quins on the attack here, and Chisholm feeding Kenningham as they head towards that 22. Herbst taking man and ball. Itoji's wound up with possession here as a consequence. Straight out of one breadbasket and into another.
Lost now. That's advantage over Sarries.
Because attack hasn't been all that fluid between both sides, we have seen a lot of kicking just to try and disrupt it. That one's gone a little bit longer.
Is Murley. Just for a minute, thought the space had opened up. Smith might find it. Keeps it alive. Porter's running a beautiful line. He's got options here. And Yanwu on the outside. Pins his ears back and scores for Quins.
All good.
That's what they can do when they're in the mood and there's a tiny chink of light. They tend to make the most of it. Marcus Smith, the catalyst, and Yanwu, the try scorer.
Well, this is typical Harlequins. Disrupted turnover ball. The kick's a little bit too long. Too much time on it for Murley. He finds the catalyst eventually by driving through the middle, and Smith sweeps round. Daly flies out of the line, but that Harlequins defensive line all drifting across, which is absolutely what Marcus Smith wants. He goes hard back against the grain, and then once they're in behind, then they can go back outside to where all those lumbering Saracens forwards have been lost. It is, as Hugo was saying, you know what's coming from Saracens, but equally you're expecting something like that from Harlequins.
Lennox Onyanwu, who has been given first dibs, I suppose, on filling the shoes left by Andre Esterhuizen, as we see the removal of another South African in Stefan Levis. I hope that's not a rib injury. Looks a little uncomfortable. That will prompt the arrival of Joe Launchbury. Marcus Smith assumes the captaincy. and drags Harlequins 14 points to 7 clear.
It's a quality finish in a game that has been so tight and so cagey, dominated a lot by kicking and physicality. The rare opportunity for the game to break up. Gorgeous pass from Porter and Anyanwu with a big fend and a big finish for Harlequins.
Celebrations all around the ground, young and old, and a feather in the cap for Nick Evans, the attack coach.
Okay, time on.
He knows what his charges are capable of. Just a question of being given that opportunity. So, Levis off, Launchbury on.
Just having a look at the last try, sometimes you just got to understand when you can put pressure in defence. Elliot Daly, he's a gorgeous defender. You see him on this occasion, he gets right up. He forces Marcus Smith in the inside to where the hole is, and then it's just about Porter finding the space and Anyanwu. For me, Elliot Daly, when you're down in numbers, take your medicine, sit back, he gets up, and you put Marcus Smith under pressure, well, he creates moments like that.
But that's exactly what Rob Webber was talking about in terms of the importance of quick ball, because the usual Saracens defensive strategy is for that last man to come up hard. But if no one else is in position, as the forwards were struggling there, and you do it, you literally hang everyone else out to dry. So that's a slightly slower delivery from the breakdown, and that probably works.
Lovely handling from Saracens. That was special. Daly keeps it alive. This is the new man, Theo Dan, who's come on for Jamie George at hooker. An embarrassment of riches for Saracens. Burke. Sarries, you can tell, just trying to crank the gears here. And that's gone forward. So they're pressing, they're pushing, and they're trying, but they're also arguing.
Oh, it was a good decision. It was a knock-on, but he was in front, Tompkins. So he picked it up from an offside position. Absolutely the right decision.
We've seen that wasn't so great, but this last bit, this is sexy, isn't it? Look at this. Hands, the timing, the movement, freeing up that last person, trying to create space for Elliot Daly. That's what Saracens are at when they're at their very best. I mean, the last 30 seconds, which led to that penalty, not so great, but almost been quite indicative of this match.
Well, they're having to find something, aren't they? They're having to search, and if it's been true, even through all the glory years of Saracens, you want to put them under pressure, stating the bleeding obvious, but you have to get a lead. You have to make them chase. Ask them questions that they don't want to answer. They are such good front runners. You let them get ahead, you very rarely reel them in. Quins have their lead, and they have a punch forward thanks to their try scorer Anyanwu. That's gone backwards, I think. No, it's gone forwards in the eyes of Christoph Ridley. Marcus Smith is challenging that decision briefly.
They're slightly lucky to get away with just a knock on. I think there was a croc roll on Tompkins. Tompkins about to leave the field, not because of injury, I don't think. I think it's just a change.
Time's off anyway, just for the sub.
So a scrum's probably a good result for Quins.
Lucio Cinti is back with us from the Rugby Championship.
Possible position for
and he's on the field now for Nick Tompkins.
Okay, let's go.
In the midfield.
He's Mark.
He's class, Ali.
Let's go.
He is rangy, as Theo Dan, not so rangy. Very powerful, mind you.
Same control
got some options off the bench for sure.
Same control on
Theo
both
Dan,
balls.
one of the most dynamic, explosive players in the English game. Lucio Cinti, very dangerous runner, who's enjoyed a fabulous time of it with the Pumas in the Rugby Championship. Argentina, just another of those sides you'll be able to see through November in the Autumn International Series, live on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. Willis, Burke, good territory. th Premiership appearance this afternoon for Sarries. He's fourth now on the all-time list of the league, passing Alex Waller. Still trucking, age 36. Looks like he could go another 3 or 4 years, Hugo.
Yeah, I reckon so. When people talk about players with time, he has it. And you wonder why. It's because of their skill set. His skill set and his brain allows him to be able to take an extra step, make really good, consistent decisions.
He's remarkable as well, his capacity to avoid heavy contact.
That is brilliant from Elliott.
Fantastic strength from the youngster. Burke, Lazowski, you can just see Sarries looking to whip through the gears. Daly chips over Halfpenny, testing one for Smith. What footwork. Caught though by Lazowski. And the counter ruck is strong. Here's Launchbury.
Use it! No.
Porter's clearance. Here's a strong one. He was looking for a little bit more distance than that. Arms outstretched.
2, 3 and 6. 2, 3 and 6.
Changes being made, particularly in the front row for Harlequins. Lamasatelli off on the tight head. Dylan Lewis on. Jack Walker making way for Nathan Jabulu. And Dino Lamb is off. Will Evans is on in his place. So a twin jackal threat now from Quins of Evans and Kenningham. Saracens, though, importantly, on the ball and looking dangerous. Here's Elliott, round the outside of Halfpenny, skinned him.
He's been put there.
Yanwu being bundled away, and Theo Dan making strides.
Not now.
Burke to Riccioni. Kenningham desperately trying to get a read on.
He's miles away.
The breakdown and a sniff of a turnover. This is Ronnie Maui.
Leave it! Not on his feet.
Lazowski, good, hid himself well. Clatters into the 22 again.
Not now, Will. Leave the 9.
Dan. Willis is caught by Launchbury. Burke heading back to that slightly bigger open side now. Earl again. Once more. Defensively strong from Quins. Ready for the threats coming. Theo Dan, so powerful in contact. Lazowski waiting to release Cincy, but again, there are two Harlequins there to meet him. And they're back on that 22. A lot of possession. Not a great deal of punch to this point yet. Burke, Dan, Daly, good. Now then, options. Elliott in space. Halfpenny in to compete and has to back away. Tizard, oh, that's gone forwards as they try to release Hugh Tizard down the right flank.
Another amazing rearguard action by Harlequins, but this guy is starting to come into the game. We saw him bounce off Murley earlier on. How about this to get round? Halfpenny stands him up by coming inside and then drifting round.
First thing I ask is that your 9 doesn't dive all over those players.
They find him in the outside again.
If he doesn't dive on them,
the more they can get the ball into the hands of this young man.
He's choosing to jump on top of him.
You feel that that is a real point of difference. Razor sharp. What a launch pad into the Premiership he's had.
Well, talking to Mark McCall, talking to Phil Morrow, they credit Amptill with a huge amount for his development in the Championship. Toughened him up. Got game time, really important game time, and they're kind of using that club in the way that we all thought the Championship clubs might be used a few years ago, almost like a buddy system.
Young kids need to play rugby. You look at the crop of under-20s that won the Junior World Cup, they have to play. They've got to be exposed to senior rugby, miles on the clock, understand what it is. And a year away playing in various different positions has enabled him, has acted as an incubator for his development. And I am so impressed with him. He has the style of rugby and plays a style of game that I think suits him to international. I'm not saying cap him in November, but he's of that mould where you can see it.
What I loved about that little break on Halfpenny there, and it's Lee Halfpenny we're talking about, all that international experience, British and Irish Lion, but it wasn't just he got the ball and then used his skills and his talent. He set him up, he brought him inside, and then he drifted out. Really smart play.
Favour Boso's quite good, Gabriel Abatoy's quite good, Tommy Freeman's quite good.
Brown Bampo, 2 tries yesterday.
Slight Home's quite decent. There's a few of them.
There are some options for sure.
Just look at back foot, man.
It's just interesting the way they're using the Amshill connection. Saracens, you go, yours.
Having a look at Saracens attack, and it's doing the simple things really, really well. This is a lovely example of it. Look at Alex Good here. Hands in the air, just holds the defender and allows Alex Ozowski time on the ball. This line here from Sinti holds the defender. Give Alex Ozowski a bit of time and space. His timing of this pass, which puts Elliot Daly away, is so brilliant. Small details making big differences.
A big tackle from Will Evans on Ben Earl. And Saracens go to work again, trying to find that momentum. They're punching hard at the moment, but Quinn's staying strong defensively. Another fine tackle from Smith, and over the ball they go, but Launchbury's gone beyond the ball. In the eyes of Christoph Ridley.
Straight onto the ball, please.
Eyes straight up to the big screen. He wants to see the replay. I think the ref's right, isn't he? Doesn't he get a hand on it? Yeah, he's absolutely spot on.
That's a fraction of a second.
Yeah, but you still can't do it. You can't put your hands on the floor.
True, very true.
Shot called.
I'll tell you something though, Quins and defensively, it is tight, you're right, by letter of the law.
The thing is, he's right as well, because Launchbury, to get that low, his feet go a long way back. So he set himself by putting the weight through his hands. I think that's a really good decision. It's not popular here, and I'll probably get lynched on the way out, but I think it's a really good decision.
Have you heard the booing from the Twickenham crowd?
would be something to get lynched in West London, wouldn't it?
So Lazowski from range. It's a clean strike, but it's wide. And the jeers ring out. 14 points to 7, the score remains. And 16 minutes to play. Chandler Cunningham South about to arrive. Off comes Chisholm. And a big roar for a big performance from the number 8. And the excitement levels raised by Cunningham South's appearance.
All on.
It's a good kick.
Halfpenny.
Timing's good.
Hit hard in the challenge. Tom Willis was there to meet him, but always with his eyes on the ball. Here's Baxter.
Good work, thank you. Use it.
McDavid after this, and the escort runners providing a clear passage for Alex Goods, and over it goes Jabulu for a really important turnover for Harlequins.
He's actually late to get in position, but accelerates. It's a very good kick and a quality competition.
Max, what are we doing?
But this is the danger when you are ahead of the ball trying to block. It means if you do get decent competition, you're late for the clearer, and Jabulu wins a very precious penalty for Quins.
He was really upset with the referee before. Jabulu thought he had one. The referee didn't reward him, so he is a very, very dangerous threat in that jackal role. You mentioned about twin jackal threat of Kenningham and Will Evans. I think it's a triple.
And here he is, poised on the Saracens 22. Kenningham rises. It's with Will Evans, who was caught.
Ball's there, leave it. It's a tackle. That's your own player's tackle.
Important moments these, needless to say. Harlequins for so long coming out second best in these contests have a real opportunity today. Oscar Beard with the leg drive. Lazowski with the tackle. Baxter, look at the hands. Immaculate for Kenningham. Smith, little shake of the hips. Similarly from Nick David. Big shot from Hugh Tizard. Saracens think they've got it. They do.
How quick, really how good, how dynamic was that from Maui?
Tackler's a long way away, no impact.
Just how far he has to reach as well. He's miles away from the ball.
That's brilliant. Very good.
Just look how far he has to reach. It's a really good placement from David through his legs. He goes long on him, drags the ball back towards his side. The referee rewards him.
That was really high class from Ironi Maui, the Fijian who only made his first appearance of the season last week against the Chiefs.
Number 3.
Really developed on the scrummaging front, just displaying the threat in the loose too. So back to halfway. Riccioni off, Alec Clary on to the tight head, wearing 18 for Sarries, and involved in the lift for Maro Itoje. Daly, sharp angle. Will Evans is there. Tizard into Cunningham South, who drives him back. Burke lying deep.
Hold.
Sends it up for Elliott at high speed. Great contest for the ball. Halfpenny's come up with it.
There is no issue there. That's just a brilliant high-quality contest.
And there was never any question that Elliott was going for the ball.
Oh, eyes on the ball. He's got hands to the ball. Once again, those ferocious cheers just reverberating around the stoop.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how Christoph Ridley can focus, actually.
It's just a very polite part of the world, Hugo. You would know that as a resident. Quinn's looking for it. They have it. Turnover ball. And Yanwu skipping past Ben Earl. And just potentially taken out a little bit late by Ezekiel. And maybe some cramp setting in.
Great service from Will Porter. He even got a little calf massage in there as well as the stretch.
Will Evans, he is different class, isn't he? That's excellent. That's play on for me.
Halfpenny does really well to hold on to that, doesn't he?
But this is the type of contest I want to see more of. I want to see two brilliant athletes in the air with a fair chance of being able to catch the ball without people trying to get involved. This is it. It's the 1v1. We love 1v1s. Elliott versus Halfpenny. That, for me, is first class. No one else messing it up, loitering, get out of the way. Anyway, if you want to subscribe to my TED Talks.
Yeah. And another thing.
Now he goes straight to ball.
Correct.
What else are you upset about, Hugo? Get it off your chest. Now's the time.
The VAT added to private school fees.
Don't like that.
No. Not me.
Let's not
Ben
go
was
there.
talking about it earlier.
Well, if you have 15 children, that is a problem. So we've got 11 minutes
he'll be back in the game
for Harlequins to try to see this through.
Finishing up, so can we take the kick?
8 matches on the trot they've lost to Saracens in the Premiership. It was pre-COVID the last time they registered a win. 1,722 days. It's a very, very, very long time. And Joe Marler will know more than anybody just how they go about closing this deal.
And number 12. 12 is going to come up.
Off comes Finn Baxter. Try scorer today and a high-class performance.
Are you just waiting for 12?
Rather more concerningly is Lennox and Yanwu making his way rather gingerly to the touchline.
I think that's cramp, though. He was getting treatment from Will Porter, of all people, for his cramp.
Cunningham South has the...
Can't push it back. I don't know, maybe he did have it. He did have it.
That's a terrible decision. Ben Earl's won that ball.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's a brilliant piece of skill that's not been rewarded. Straight on the ball. By the time he's off his feet, he's in his possession. This is a tight game.
Oh, a tight game and a very, very big decision at this moment. 10 minutes to play, and this to take Quins beyond the converted try. Marcus Smith lining this up from, around about 10, 12 metres to the left-hand side of the posts.
Only got 9 seconds on the shot clock here, Marcus Smith.
He's got to get his skates on here. 3, 2. Oof. A little bit of drama, but not in the mind of Marcus Smith. Harlequins 10 points clear, 9 minutes to play. They are edging to the finish line. Not done yet, but they're close. Launch for his ball. Elliott and Ezekwe, part of the welcoming committee.
Use it!
I spoke about it right at the outset, but just that single win for Quins to this point over the Newcastle side that are struggling beyond struggle at the moment. Defeats to Sale and Saints, albeit by tight margins. This could be a real catalyst to their campaign, but Sarri's not quite finished here. That's backwards from Good. Gareth Simpson's on at scrum half. Replaced Van Sale. Itoje throws the dummy. Good. Into Porter. Simpson away. Ezekwe. Ernie Herbst. One more tackle. He's been titanic this afternoon. Maui. Elliott hits that gap really hard. Beard backs away, but I wonder if he might have had a good crack at getting in there. Now it comes again.
If you're not sure, he's done the right thing there.
Itoje dumped over. Jack Kenningham making his presence felt. Here's Ezekwe again, wave after wave of Saracens' attack here. Simpson, Clary, here's Earl, and they keep running into this Quins brick wall.
Beyond the ball,
they do have a penalty though.
I'll tell you what a defensive effort this is. Saracens throwing everything at them. Huge number of tackles having to be made by Harlequins. Kenningham now on 22.
And do you bang over the 3 here, Ben, and get within range?
What are we doing, lads?
Or do you keep pressing?
What are we doing, lads?
You take 3 if you're Alex Lozowski.
I think you do.
Fair point. Fair point.
Interesting conversation, at least, isn't it? Try and ride that momentum or bank your points with time to get it done.
Sometimes that message needs to come on from the sideline as well. Are you happy to potentially bank a draw from here with how the game's gone for you and how the beginning of the season's gone for you? Could be a little bit of a let-off from this situation. So, although they'll want to always win every game, sometimes the really good coaches and the really good leaders just sneaks through, make those tough decisions. Actually, we'll be happy with a draw from this position.
600 points up in the Premiership for Saracens. Alex Lozowski. The volume increasing, so too the tension and the drama. Brilliant finish to a brilliant weekend of derby matches across the Gallagher Premiership. Willis claiming it and shrugging off all comers. Remarkable ability in very close confines to find space.
Use it. Let's take him back.
Not too many like him. Footwork is excellent, and the strength, obviously, we've seen many times today. Halfpenny again, supreme in the air. Launchbury. Smith. Eyes up. And forwards from Saracens. Cunningham South trying to make the most of it. Hits that 22-metre line. Porter gets it away. Nice handling in the midfield from Jabulu. Picked up by Beard. Kenningham lurking out wide. Launch free, taken low by Tizard. Quinn's happy to play their rugby down here for the time being. Marler on the carry.
He's on his feet.
Out with a foot problem until recently, but the ball has been stolen by Itoje. Big intervention from their most celebrated player. On they go, Saris, knowing that time is against them. Maui just protecting that for a split second, allowing Willis to tidy up.
Willis made any ground there. Completely compromised.
Again to the air from Simpson. And Halfpenny having to come in quite a long way, and he's judged it beautifully.
Not held. No pull on the ball. Use it.
The weight on the Porter kick is good. It's there for Lordsbury. Porter's onto it. Now then, what's on? Jared Evans throws two dummies, heads back infield. Earl is there, Itoje is there, and has he got his hands on it? He has, again.
Marcus,
I think that was a ruck before Itoje got his hands on the ball.
10 ceiling.
Well, he's saying Marcus Smith had gone off his feet to prevent Itoje getting there. Probably not, because Itoje goes off his feet first, then gets back up. It's a tight decision.
2.5 to go. What are the odds on a draw?
Short, I would say, probably. Knowing Saracens' capacity, knowing the belief that runs through their ranks.
For all how much amazing games we've had with high scoring, we've had games like this. You still need the odd one of these, don't you? It's been brilliant.
Burke to Cinty. Another monstrous tackle. Oscar Beard with a pile driver. Earl still full of running. 78 minutes in. Theo Dan running the dummy line this time. Tizard again for Saris. Burke running into trouble, running into Kenningham and Herbst, and they're holding him up, and they're affecting the choke tackle, and they've probably done enough here, Harlequins. Into touch he goes. That is a huge moment. Quins fans everywhere recognise it. It might be enough to finish the job here.
Nice and quick, Quins, let's go. Let's go.
I wonder whether...
Time off, time off.
They might have preferred the scrum, though this will waste a bit more time. Clock's just stopped.
It's a line.
They've got to get their line-out drill right, but what a game he's had.
Okay. Time back on, please.
Unreal noise. Heartfelt passion pouring down from the stands this afternoon. It's been so long since they've tasted victory over Saracens. It's within touching distance now. Chibulu wrestles it away from Hugh Tizard.
That's Quins to floor. Ball's there. Leave now. Marrow, leave. Don't touch him. No.
Quietly, they truck it up.
Use it.
Porter to Cunningham South. No interest really in moving forwards, just protection of the ball. Marler does exactly that. 20 seconds to navigate for Quins. Porter pops it up once more. Cunningham South lays it up again. The instructions from Porter. You can feel the nerves, you can feel the tension. The countdown is on. Harlequins close. It's happened. It's finally happened. More than 1,700 days of waiting. Quins have beaten the Saracens in the Premiership. 4 years of hurt. And here on this Sunday afternoon in Southwest London. These men have done it. Heroic stuff. Hugo, who's your man of the match?
It's been an extraordinary game, in a game which Tom Willicks doesn't deserve to be on the losing side. The likes of Jack Henrigham, exceptional. In fact, the Harlequins pack put in some shift. Lee Halfpenny in the air. But for me, the Gallagher Premiership man of the match is that fella on your screen, Finn Baxter. Scored a try, a boatload of tackles, his work in attack as well. He looks like a complete player, our Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Well, we're so often talking about the attacking brilliance of Quins, and there were moments of that, of course, but this was founded on defence. 205 tackles made, and Saracens beaten for the first time this season. Harlequins winners by 17 points to 10, Craig.